everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're doing a boxing of art video. I'm going to show you how I box pieces that have been sold and send them to the clients. Boxing video for you. This is not the glamorous part of being an artist. This is the part that you want to do because you want to send your work to the clients and the customers, but it's not the most glamorous. But you have to do this well to be able to get your artwork shipped and arrive at its destination in good form. So I'm going to show you how I box my 12 by 12 paintings. This was sold at my square foot show, Coastal Show. I had 3 paintings in the show and all 3 paintings sold. So if you don't know about the square foot show, squarefootshow.com, you can go there. If you're a collector, it's a great opportunity to get small 12 by 12 pieces, all for 350 Canadian or 300 US, and find new artists, find artists that you love, find my work at a deal. These are normally $600 for me. At the Square Foot Show, you get the opportunity for 24 hours only to get them for $350. The show happens once a month. All right, so now I've got a sold piece. I've painted this piece. The collector has purchased, made a decision, which I'm always so honored that people will love and collect my work. Now I've got to ship it. So what I do is I have all of my supplies together. And my wonderful Glendale student is here, Zoe, and she is filming for me for her co-op. So this is really fun. So she's going to be able to get in and focus on things better than if I was just setting up the camera here and there. Thanks, Zoe.
You're welcome.
So the first thing I do is I use this large cellophane plastic wrap to wrap the actual painting. It's really a lot easier with 2 people. My husband is usually the guy helping me with this, but I'll show you right now. I wrap it. And rip it. Okay, and then I simply tuck the plastic around. We have found in my practice that if I use bubble wrap as the first layer, sometimes the bubble wrap will leave tiny little circles in the finish. So you don't want to do that. You want to wrap it like this. I forgot to tell you, I always sign the back with the title and my name. And there's just a little pronged hanger that I've used. You can do, if you want to use D-rings and wire, that's good. I just use a little sawtooth. So the next thing I do, you want, when you're sending your work, for it to make an impression when somebody opens the box. But I only do it on these 12 by 12s. If I'm shipping a great big painting, I don't do this. If I'm shipping prints, I don't do this. But when people buy from me from the Square Foot Show, I do this. So we're gonna gift wrap this double-sided wrapping paper with the grid lines. Whoever thought of that, was brilliant. And you've all wrapped a present. That's what I do. Simply wrap it up.
It's the one thing that even beginner artists can get right, if they celebrate Christmas anyway.
That's right. The thing is, don't press too hard here because there's a void in the painting. Go as fancy as you want, but I basically wrap a present. And I'm not saying that I'm an expert gift wrapper, guys. I'm just saying this is what I do. And I encourage the artists at Square Foot Show to do this as well. Okay, major point. I have to figure out which one I wrapped. It was A Date with My Grandson. If I could not think of that title, I would have to unwrap that and look at what I just wrote. Okay, so I'm actually going to do this, grabbing a marker, and I'm writing on A Date with My Grandson. That's what I called this painting, because we were in Tofino. It's lovely. We were in Tofino in BC, and he was running along this beach, and that's what I called that. So I've wrapped it. Phew, I remembered the title. That would be very bad if you didn't remember that.
This is the glory of filming. I got in a close-up.
Oh, that's true. I could have gone back. It looked, oh.
Luckily you remembered, so it's okay. But this
Zoe,
is the glory of filming.
But you're right. Okay, Zoe, save the day. Sometimes it's that aha moment that people have. In one of my last videos, I talked about a basketball moment, and if you've watched that video, you'll know it was about me freaking out about something, and my husband just coming up with the most simple solution, and I went, oh, it was about a basketball that we had forgotten. My twins were 4 years old, and we had given them a new basketball hoop, and I had forgotten it because we had a baby. We had Abigail, and we were coming home from Canada. We lived in the States at that time. We were coming home from Canada, and I had forgotten the basketball, and I was devastated. I was crying in the car that we didn't have the basketball, and that the boys were going to think that the baby just took over everything and that we didn't care about them anymore. And that was just not true. But we weren't going to be able to go back to Grandma's until 6 weeks. And what are we going to do? They're not going to have the basketball. And my husband simply reached over and said, Julia, why don't I go to the sports store, and buy another basketball? And I was like, immediately dried my tears and said, yes, that is a good solution. So Zoe's solution would have been great if I was freaking out that I didn't know the painting. There's a wrapped gift. I also include always one of my greeting cards. So this is one of my greeting cards. It's called The Source. It's got my website on it. This is a great way to put more of your product in your customer's hand. And then they have your website to go to. So what I do is I find these are in the plastic sleeve. I will often write a note and send the card with the note on the plastic so that they can then reuse the card. But this always goes with the present. Okay, so now we've got our gift wrapped. Let's go on now to how I get it ready for shipping, okay? For a 12 by 12, I use these boxes. I get them from a local paper cardboard shop called White Bird in Hamilton, but you can get these off Uline or Amazon. These are 14 inches wide, 14 inches long, so 14 by 14, they're square, and 4 inches tall. And I simply fold them in, fold in the first two, fold in the second two flaps, and then I use packing tape and tape up this box really, really well. Go. We've got our box. See that? Then, and this is all scrap bubble wrap from Crown and Press on Ottawa Street North, and we sell paintings and prints there. So we have a lot of wrapping. We have a shipping room. So I went and I grabbed a whole bunch of old bubble wrap, which I will kind of stack. It's perforated. It's perfect. And I do quite a few layers. And then I tuck the painting in. And you know what? Let's video the whole note so that I can just close this up.
All right.
Otherwise, I've got to open it up again. Okay, to remember again, I've got to write on the outside of the box a date with my grandchild. And you only really need to do this, guys, if you have multiple and you won't remember which pieces that you're shipping. But if you're shipping out a whole bunch of paintings, this is a great thing to do, to track each time. And so the box is 14 by 14 by 4. It gives you lots of room for that bubble wrap to tuck in around the sides and on the top. So it's really a perfect thing. This isn't going to go anywhere. It's not going to shuffle around. So then we close it up and we tape this up. I'm going to tape that up along here. I'll tape the sides. I use something called FreightCom, and it gives me an estimate, and it gives me all the variety of shippers that I can use to ship it in the cheapest route. So I could use Canada Post, or if you're in the States, your postal service. I use UPS, I can use DHL, whatever comes up. I can choose, print off the tag of where it's going, it's scheduled for pickup, or I could take it to the post office, stand in line, pay for postage, and ship it off. So there is how I wrap a painting for shipping. And in our shipping room, we do very similar things. We do a film around it so that we don't get the bubbles on the varnish. We wrap it with bubble wrap. We layer cardboard all around it. Sometimes we build a box depending on how big it is. If it is a framed piece, we add a 1-inch foam that we get by the skid. You could get it at your local hardware store like a Rona or Lowe's or something like that. You could get the foam and you can cut, and we cut that around if it's framed. We have to take the measurements, but we know the measurements of this, 14 by 14 by 4. We estimate, if you don't have a scale, you estimate the weight. Always estimate a little high, because if it's lower, they'll ding you if it's too low. And then we take it and we ship it off. And we get a tracking number with this so that I send it to the customer. So I'll say, hey, if this is, let's say Angela. Hi, Angela. I just wrapped your box. I just shipped it off. Here's your tracking number. Thank you again for your purchase. And the customer can then track the piece until it's at their door. So that's it. That's how I ship. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. Give me some comments about what you do to ship, and or if you did learn something, and like and subscribe because it helps the channel. And we'll see you in the next video.